For our Canadian lifters, pure passion, real results, what you put in your body should matter. Pure Vita Labs PVL supplements are clean, tested, and approved, powering athletes for over 25 years. They also power the KOTL podcast. You could trust PVL. Use code KOTL15 for partnership pricing at PVL.com. Okay, bonjour. Six pack Lapadat, and we got Noémie Allabert, 52 kilo, two-time world champion, and her coach, Yusuf El Adlani. I got it right?
Yeah, that's right.
My
Hello,
man.
guys.
And fresh off of Sheffield, which was, we were talking online before we started recording, and it was absolutely bonkers. I mean, I've never experienced anything like that in my life. Maybe ask Noémie how she feels, looking back at Sheffield, just her initial reactions coming back to normal life now.
Comment tu te sens, Nono, depuis ton retour de Sheffield, maintenant avec le retour un peu calme, comment tu te sens? C'est quoi tes émotions par rapport à tout ça?
Pour l'instant, je me sens bien. J'ai vraiment hâte de prendre ma revanche au championnat du monde. Mais pour l'instant, ça va. J'ai pas encore repris les trainings à fond, mais je reprends en début de semaine prochaine.
Yeah, she says she feels good. She feels good, and she's just enjoying the chill time after her meet, and she can't wait to have her revenge at Worlds.
So I was talking to when we found out Evie was moving into the 52 kilo class, I was a little shocked. In the preview show, Tori had mentioned that Evie looks small and shredded, smaller than a 57 would be. And
Yes.
I was like, I wasn't sure if she was reading into it too much. It's hard to tell sometimes. And then obviously I asked Noémie about it in the preview before, and Noémie said she already knew that Evie was coming into 52, and Noémie even said that and I was like, how did you know? And she said somebody from New Zealand told her. And I was like, oh wow, some controversy here. So what happened there? How did she find out, and what did she think when she found out?
So I know the story. So 1 week before Sheffield, she comes out with the fact that this lifter I heard of, but I was not worrying about since she was not in our weight class. She told me, yeah, she's doing a weight cut to come in the 52s. Like, I've been told this from this lifter, and I say, well, she must be some friend of her, or I don't know, some kind of stuff. Like, we never know. Like, we're not there with them,
right?
But I think there's some rivalries or just some, I don't know, stuff
like
between
sports rivalries,
there.
anyways. Yeah.
Yeah. So someone told Noémie that she was pretty, like, it was not a sure info. Like, we still didn't knew for sure that it was going to be like this, but we prefer to take the info as true and be prepared for that. And it came out that it was true. So
it was wild because, like, before, we did a quick interview, and I asked Noémie, I'm like, some people have showdowns at Sheffield. Do you have the same motivation when there's no other 52 there? And Noémie goes, there is another 52. And I was like, who's the other 52? And she goes, Evie Corrigan. And then I'm like, how do you know?
What?
And she's like, someone from New Zealand told me. And I'm like, holy shit. Crazy. So when you guys found out, and it was kind of, sneaky, it was kept quiet, how did you guys feel about it? Were you like, whatever, game on? Or did you feel, because it was kept quiet, did it matter it was kept quiet? Were you like, all right, if you want it, you're going to get it? Like, what was your initial impression when you found that out? Both you and
Yeah, I'm going to ask her in French. Nono, il demande en gros, comment tu t'es senti quand tu as découvert que tu allais avoir une concurrente directe? Et surtout par rapport au fait que ça s'est fait assez en sourdine, qu'on n'en parlait pas plus que ça, etc.
Sur le coup, je me suis dit, putain, je serai jamais tranquille en 52. Parce que j'ai toujours eu de la concurrence, même en France, en 52 avec Shizuka. Donc, je me suis dit, putain, c'était sûr, en gros. Et je me suis dit, bah tant pis, si je gagne, la victoire, elle sera encore plus belle. Et si je perds, bah c'est comme ça, c'est le sport. Mais ouais, voilà.
Okay. So she says that like she always had big matchups in every meet she did. Like in France, there was Shizuka Rico before. So we never had a meet without a strong like lifter against us. So she was kind of feeling weird that there was not at this meet a competitor in the 52. And she said, I was sure it was going to happen. Like, it can't happen that I have an easy meet with no stress because of a lifter that's against me. And like, she's used to it. Like, so it was a good thing. Like, if I win, it's gonna be even better. And if I lose, it's just the sport. So it is what it is.
When I found out, so afterwards in the hotel lobby, like I was kind of like, holy smokes, this is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a good showdown. I wasn't sure what to expect from Evie because her last performance as a 57, she put up 468. So I didn't, for her to put up 460s for me, like I could, like that's insane. But then for Noémie to put up 454 is insane. Like, and these are 52s, putting up like 454. Like they're within 6 kilos of each other. Like that's one lift. Like they're super close. Someone misses, someone hits, right? It's so it's an amazing rivalry, but I wasn't sure what to expect. And I remember being in the lobby, and I because there's like a bit of a language barrier, I don't know Noémie like some of the other French people do. But I remember talking to a group of people, and Penna was there, and he goes, "Listen to me, Noémie's fierce. When she sees Evie weighs a 52, she's coming. Like she's a competitor. She's like she's go." I was like, how big of a total do you think we're gonna see?" And he's like, "I don't know, man, but she's not gonna lay down for this. Like it's." If you want to battle her, it is going to be right down to the last deadlift. Like that's the way it's going to be. And no matter what, win, lose, or draw, like, does Noémie think if Evie wasn't there, she would have been pushed? Like, does she think the 454 happened because she was pushed or if there was no one there, she would have ended up with a massive total anyways?
Okay, I'm going to ask her, then I'm going to say what I think about it too.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Non, il demande en gros si tu penses que même sans une concurrente directe, tu aurais pu faire un aussi gros total.
Bien
Ou
sûr.
est-ce que ça t'a poussé?
Bien sûr. L'objectif pour cette compétition-là, Sheffield, c'était de gagner et du coup de battre le record du monde au maximum. Après qu'il y ait Evie ou pas Evie, honnêtement, ça n'a pas changé grand-chose. Je pense que j'ai fait le maximum, donc voilà, c'est comme ça.
So she said, of course I would have done the same total, like.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, some people rise, but.
Yeah, no, we were expecting like even at Europe's we did 437 with really an easy second deadlift. We didn't even did the third, I think. So we knew that we were going to reach at least 450. We were aiming for a bit more, like 460 would have been the big goal. Like when I did the game plan, I saw what each lifter could potentially do and how to come up first. And I was seeing Jay Jacob doing 520, 515, 520. So I was aiming for 60 to back the win, like. And then Evie came up, and it was actually the same meet that we expected to do until the last deadlift. That was for the win. So
in terms of like motivation, if Noémie's lifting in herself, like without a weight class, like no one else in her weight class, or if someone jumps in and is there, it's the same for her. It doesn't really like change anything on her end.
Niveau motivation, par contre, est-ce que ça aurait été pareil d'être toute seule à Sheffield dans ta catégorie ou pas? Ou l'effet d'avoir un adversaire, ça a changé quelque chose? Niveau hype, etc.
Honnêtement, je pense pas que ça ait changé quelque chose. Après, je pense qu'il y a eu peut-être un peu plus de hype au niveau du soulevé de terre. Mais honnêtement, après, j'ai fait la compète que je voulais faire et qu'elle soit là ou pas là, ça a pas changé grand-chose. Je pense que j'aurais fait exactement la même chose. Et même au niveau de la hype, je pense que je savais que c'était la compétition et qu'il fallait tout donner. Donc, honnêtement, j'ai pas trop fait attention à elle. Durant la compétition, j'ai fait ma compète.
Okay, she says that it didn't change a lot that there was Evie there until the deadlift battle, like for the first spot. And so no, it actually didn't change a lot. Just a bit more hype and stuff because she was fighting for the first place. But it's not because Evie was there, essentially, but just a little better, but not that much.
It was crazy. Like the experience in that stadium, like 2,000 people there chanting. And I looked over into the crowd, and when Noémie hit the platform, there was like people standing and hollering. And I remember like, and waving like French flags. And at one point, like Noémie would look off into the crowd and be like, acknowledge them. Like, what was that like for Noémie to experience Sheffield like that? Because like the music would pound and I could feel it in my chest rattling. I mean, I've never experienced anything like that before in my life. And I've been commentating powerlifting for a long time. So just asking Noémie her experience and seeing these people in the crowd and just like the hype that they brought to her.
Okay. Ça te faisait quoi, en gros, Nono, d'avoir dans cette compétition, à part tout l'effet qu'il y avait la musique, les lumières, etc., l'effet d'avoir vraiment un public qui était vraiment super engagé, qui était debout avec les drapeaux français, qui faisait du bruit, etc. Qu'est-ce que ça te faisait?
Bah forcément, ça fait plaisir parce que du coup, moi, il y avait toute ma team qui était là pour me soutenir et ils ont foutu le feu, ils ont foutu vraiment le gros bordel. Et franchement, c'était top parce que bah, quand je passais sur la plateforme, forcément, je les entendais, il y avait du bruit et tout. Et nous, quand on est au championnat du monde, dans les petites catégories, dans les 47, 52, en général, c'est tôt le matin et il y a presque personne ou vraiment pas grand monde. Donc là, c'était vraiment exceptionnel. Donc franchement, j'ai kiffé.
So she says that it was really a great pleasure to experience this, especially because in every international meet that she did, since the lower weight classes, the women's are a bit less like followed, there was never a crowd like this in her meets. Like in the 93 battles at Worlds in South Africa, there was quite a good like crowd. It was noisy and stuff, you know. But she never experienced this, and she was very, very happy to live this, and all the friends that came from France to support her and stuff. It was very good.
Like she's right. In terms of a showcase for the lighter weight women, this was perfect. Like the 52s, 252s at the top, and the battle was amazing. Everybody wants to watch this happen again. Like it was a perfect showcase. And then even the third place is Jad Jacob, who's a 57. It's still like the lighter side of weightlifting. It's for the lighter weight women, it was perfect. This year, so it's obviously the French women are really like on top. This year at the World Championships, are the French women going to secure the team championship on points?
Est-ce que tu penses que l'équipe féminine Open va gagner au championnat du monde?
Bien sûr.
Of course.
And because it's between Team France and Team USA. Has Team France bypassed Team USA at this point? Does she feel?
Est-ce que tu ressens comme si l'équipe française avait vraiment dépassé et supéré la puissance de l'équipe américaine?
Pour l'équipe féminine, je pense que oui. Parce que bah déjà, je sais même plus si on avait fait meilleure nation mondiale en France, je sais plus. Mais je pense qu'honnêtement, on a une très bonne équipe féminine en France, donc je pense qu'on est au-dessus maintenant.
Yeah, she feels like France is took over to America in the women open division. Yeah.
I mean, it's even in the juniors, man. It's starting to get, you guys got a lot of junior world champions now. In terms of how Sheffield was, like her performance and her previous performances at the World Championships, what does she rank as her proudest of all of her performances? Because she's won the title a couple times now.
Comment tu classerais le Sheffield par rapport à toutes tes compétitions internationales niveau fierté personnelle?
Au-dessus, vraiment, je pense que c'était vraiment très, très prestigieux, c'était très suivi. C'était la première fois aussi que des personnes, en tant que spectateurs, payaient leur place pour voir un show. Donc, on était vraiment très mis en avant. On a signé des autographes, on a fait des photos et tout. Donc, c'était vraiment une autre ambiance par rapport à des championnats du monde. Et là, c'était très sélectif vu qu'on était 12 et 12. Donc, c'était vraiment un très gros show et je pense que c'est vraiment la meilleure compétition pour l'instant que j'ai jamais vécue.
Okay, for her, it's actually the greatest meet that she has ever done, and the one which she's the most proud of, since there was a big selection before, like it was only 12 best lifters, and there was like everything around the meet, like photos and the meet and greet. People paid to see her and stuff. So
It's
yeah,
pretty cool that 2,000 people paid to watch.
yeah.
2,000 people flew. People bought plane tickets, flew from another country, got a hotel, paid money, sat down and watched. Like, that's crazy. This is like what rock bands dream of. There are literally rock bands touring right now who would have died for 2,000 people to pack a stadium or arena and watch them. And this is what like powerlifting is at now. It's a pretty cool experience when you think about it that way. And did it impact her performance when she hit the stage? Like, I just did a podcast with Gavin Aiden, and he said he felt almost obligated to put on a show, almost obligated, like after he hit a lift and he gave like a celebratory, like threw his hands up to acknowledge the crowd, or when he hit the platform and he felt the crowd like chanting and cheering, and he was like, let's go, like to engage back and forth. He said like he felt it like it was like he'd never felt it before, and B, he said because people flew in and paid and did all this, he felt a bit of an obligation to ramp it up a little bit. If you hit a big lift, celebrate with them. If you're about to hit a big lift, call on them to give you the energy. Did she feel that as well, or was she kind of just like, look, I'm staying in the pocket because I'm in the middle of a battle and I'm not?
I already know.
Okay.
But I'm gonna ask her anyway.
Okay.
Il demande avec l'effet qu'il y avait le public et tout, est-ce que tu t'es senti d'une certaine mesure obligé de devoir performer, du coup, tenter des grosses barres, d'interagir avec avant ou après les listes, etc.
Ouais, après, on est forcément dans sa compétition, donc on entend, on essaye d'interagir avec le public, mais après, on reste forcément dans sa compétition, donc on est un petit peu dans sa bulle. Mais forcément, ça nous pousse à soulever plus lourd, à essayer de réussir ses lifts, à faire un peu le show, entre guillemets.
So she said that, yeah, she felt that not as much as Gavin, for sure, but because, you're in your meet, like you want to do well, you have your battle with the other lifter for the first place and stuff. But yeah, she still she felt like she had to interact more with the crowd compared to the other meets, like to put on a show, like hype them up and stuff. But for the choices of bars and stuff, it was just like her meet.
Right. Yeah. For sure. And because everything's like, for sure, powerlifting in general in France is on the rise, but particularly the women's. Why is that? What is, for a lot of people, like I came to France for the silent worker meet, and a lot of people, and I when I came back, I'm telling everybody who I could tell, there's something going on in France. Like when I showed up, the crowd was insane. They were extremely into the event. They waited after the event was done. There was lineups for like people think I'm exaggerating. I'm like, it was like 45 minutes of people waiting in line to take pictures and talk to some of these lifters, that were at the silent worker meet. Like the powerlifting is blowing up in France. And there's people like, Scott and Blow, they do French content. I don't super know them, but they have like millions of followers on YouTube. Antoine, who Brutus on TikTok, millions of people and all this. So there's massive influencers who are getting involved now in powerlifting in France, and it's just blowing up. Like these people in English speaking nations, we can't fully appreciate what is happening in France. And I'm trying to tell people, like, if you look at the numbers, some of these social media people are massive, but we don't know about them because of French content. And the amount of participation, and even the young, like in the juniors, this isn't one wave. like we're just like Noémie and the people in the open. There's a second wave coming, and it's a fucking tidal wave. Like this is not small, right? So what exactly is it? Your impression as well, like I know in Italy now, but you were in France, and her impression, why is powerlifting blowing up like this in France?
T'as compris un peu ce qu'elle a dit, non ou pas?
Oui, j'ai compris. En gros, ils se demandent pourquoi, enfin, qu'est-ce qui se passe en France par rapport
Pour que
à.
ça explose autant, ouais.
Après, bah, moi, je pense que ça vient forcément de YouTube. Le fait qu'il y ait pas mal d'influenceurs aussi qui fassent du powerlifting. Il y a des gros comptes de powerlifting, donc je pense que ça joue aussi. Après, par rapport aux autres nations, honnêtement, je vois pas de différence, à part, je pense que c'est très médiatisé en France par rapport aux influenceurs.
Moi, je pense qu'on a juste un petit peu d'avance, mais pas tant que ça. Bon, je vais te dire ça. So she says that for sure, like the big lifters that are on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube and stuff are helping the youngster to know the sport. Like, don't just go to the gym, but do some squat, bench, and deadlift. See what you can do, what you can hit, and as soon as people start that, well, as everyone knows, powerlifting it's more like there are numbers. Like it's not just pumping muscles and see where you get. So people get attracted to it, get attracted to the athletes that have personalities and stuff. But I actually think, as Noémie thinks too, that there's not so much difference with other states in Europe. That France just started sooner. Like I see Spain is moving really strong right now. They just started 2-3 years ago, but they're getting really strong. Italy, from my side, I see a lot of lifters coming. Same, we have some years of like relate compared to France, but it's coming. Like France just started sooner, so we're seeing this explosion as the main driver in Europe with Great Britain. But yeah, that's not that bigger compared to other European states.
So because you guys know you're over there in Europe and you're in Italy now. In Italy, yeah, like Italy, like obviously Gara, Chiara Bernardi, and like there's Italians coming up, and Edo in the 83s, and like there's who just hit like
beast. Absolutely beast.
So this is happening now. It's slightly behind France because France came first. But you're saying you see the same thing happening in other nations that happened in France, and we can expect all of Europe starting to rise like this now.
Maybe not with the same rate. Like I don't think that's in Italy. There will be a lifter like I don't know, like Tiffany in 2 years will become world champion. But yeah, we are following that. Like I don't know how much time it will take to like not take the lead, but come as strong as France. But Spain, Italy, and some European states are moving strong too. Yeah, there are just less influent athletes. Like we have no one that's really, really, really focused on social, like Instagram, YouTube, and stuff. So that won't help developing it faster. But still, there are pretty good movements here. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's a combination, right? First off, you need someone to become a champion. Like an open class world champion. And Gara certainly can. Leah's going 69 kilos for worlds, and I don't know if Carola Gara is going to be at worlds or whatever, but like if she does, she's going to be like at the front runner. But we also need social media push. Because some of these French people have like big social media followings, and it goes hand in hand with it. Why is it particularly that the French women have taken off like they have? Like when I look at the weight class totals, like the records in the IPF, the French women, there's 8 weight classes. The French women have, before Sheffield leading into it, 5 of 8 of those, which is crazy. Why? I mean, if you think about that, why in 57s, Jad, Noémie, 52, Leah, 69s, Emilie Mergier, freaking like it doesn't matter. Turbo Tiff in the 47s, like it's crazy all the way through. And Laura in the 76s. Why particularly is the women's division so big? Like all of a sudden, and there's depth to it. What's going on? How did this happen? Is it just like it Is this new or what's her impression?
I don't have an answer to that. Like,
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna ask Noémie what she thinks about it, and then I'll like combine the both answers.
Okay.
Non,
Et
non,
non, les femmes sont si fortes, c'est ça? Non?
ouais, pourquoi en France, les femmes sont toutes aussi fortes. Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé?
On est juste meilleurs que les hommes, c'est tout.
Ah, I got that. I got that. But French.
I'm not concerned. It's okay, I'm not French. But yeah, she says that like they're just strong. Like there's no a real answer. Like we can't explain it.
Like, is there more participation? Like what? Because there's obviously huge participation by women. What kind of enticed all of these women to try powerlifting? Because the participation rates have got up over the last couple of years. Is it just like because once there's a couple world champions, all of a sudden it's like, how popular is powerlifting in France right now?
Est-ce que tu penses que c'est juste parce que c'est très populaire chez les femmes en France et que du coup il y en a plein et que du coup c'est difficile de trouver des athlètes fortes? Enfin, est-ce qu'il y a une influence sur ça? Avec le fait que vous soyez plein et très forte et que du coup ben ça pousse les autres à faire pareil.
Non, parce que je pense qu'il y a autant de mecs que de femmes qui font du powerlifting en France.
Je pense qu'il y a plus de mecs quand même.
Ouais, même plus de mecs. Donc peut-être que le niveau est plus élevé chez les mecs que chez les femmes. Honnêtement, je sais pas du tout. Euh, je non, je sais pas. Dis ce que tu veux.
She doesn't really know since well I think even in France there are a lot more men that do powerlifting than women. Maybe she says that the level of powerlifting in the men divisions are just far superior for now since they started sooner. There are much more athletes and stuff, and yeah, so there's not a real answer why French women are that strong, but like just maybe it was easier, and in France they got a big movement from 3-4 years ago. And they just took the place, and we'll see in a few years if it will be still the same or not.
What do you think personally? Because you're from France, you were lived in France for a while.
So I actually feel like there are not that more women that do powerlifting in France than Italy or Spain. I just feel that in Italy it happened almost the same with Carola when she became strong. Few lifters behind became really strong too, like Chiara, Saranaldi, and stuff. I guess where there's a leader that shows the way, then others people just believe, yeah, it's possible. Like we can do it. Like there's not only the American. So I think in France, Italy, that's what happened in the women division, like with Leah, then Noémie, then the others, and maybe that's just the reason. Like,
well. I remember 2019 when I first met them, and we didn't have someone in France yet and now we do. Now we got tons. Now girls in France are going to see Noémie in Sheffield and be like, I want to be like that. They're going to see Noémie at Worlds, and they're going to be around Noémie's body weight and be like, that looks amazing. I want to jump in. How do I sign up? Like, that's the dream, you know? So, but before Noémie, Leah, whatever, there wasn't one of those ladies yet. Who did Noémie look up to in 2019, 2018, when she was going to Worlds leading the way?
Du coup, non, parce que j'ai dit qu'en gros, je pense que le fait qu'il y ait 1-2 athlètes fortes qui sont sortis, ça a pu guider les autres à croire que c'était possible et du coup de se donner les moyens. Et lui, il demande, avant qu'il y ait toutes ces athlètes en France, du coup, comme toi ou Lia, qui est-ce que tu regardais ou qui est-ce que tu visais? Est-ce qu'il y avait quelqu'un qui avait cet effet sur toi?
Moi, avant, j'étais en moins de 47, donc quand j'ai commencé, du coup, je regardais les 47. Et forcément, la 47 la plus forte, quand j'ai commencé, c'était Heather Connor. Du coup, c'est surtout Heather avec son soulevé de terre qui m'impressionnait. Et c'est elle que je suivais le plus. Et quand je l'ai vue en vrai pour ma première compétition, je me suis dit, ah ouais, elle est réelle. Et c'est comme ça que ça a commencé. En fait, je me suis dit, en fait, ce que je vois sur Instagram, c'est réel. Et du coup, bah, tu peux les voir et tu peux faire de la compétition et tu peux peut-être y arriver aussi.
Okay. So when she first started, it was in the 47th, and the only lifter that she looked up to in that way was either Connor, with especially her dad for sure, And so yeah, when she reached her first international meet and she saw Connor really hit that deadlift in front of her eyes, she thought, yeah, that's in front of me, it's possible, so I can reach it. And it started to have the same consequences as she's having on the other lifters now. So that was the moment.
And she obviously decided to move up to 52s, and the rest is history. I mean, she 2-time world champion. Why did she move up to 52s? And does she foresee herself staying at 52 from here on out? Or has she ever thought about moving around again? Because sometimes she's light, this time she was closer to 52, but could she cut to 47 again? Would she ever think about moving up to 57?
Bon, mais t'as compris, non? Déjà, pourquoi t'as voulu passer en 52 et est-ce que tu te vas rester en 52 définitivement?
Alors, pourquoi j'ai voulu rester en 52 déjà? Parce que j'arrivais plus à faire le régime et je faisais pas de cut quand j'ai commencé en 47. Donc, c'était très, très dur pour moi d'être au poids en 47. J'ai fait n'importe quoi. Et tu veux déjà traduire ça?
Okay. Starting with the first half of the answer.
Okay.
And she said that she moved to the 52s because before she didn't do any weight cut. So she was just dieting all year round to maintain the weight as low as possible. And she was starting to struggle way too much to keep the weight that low. And so she chose to move up for that easily. Vas-y, continue.
Et la deuxième question, du coup, on va pas dire que c'est pas impossible, pas tout de suite, parce que je pense que si je le fais un jour, le fait de descendre en 47, je pense que quand je vais remonter en 52, j'aurai forcément des pertes. Donc, c'est pas impossible parce que j'ai un petit goût je sais pas comment dire, un petit goût amer par rapport d'inachevé par rapport à 47. Le fait que j'avais fait vice-championne du monde face à Heather, justement. Et je cutais pas, donc j'aurais bien aimé en fait voir ce que ça fait de cutter et d'essayer en 47, mais pas tout de suite parce que pour l'instant ça aurait aucun sens de descendre en 47 vu que je suis compétitive. Enfin, je suis encore bien en 52, on va dire.
So she said that for now it's not in our plans to go down to the 47s again. She has a lot to do still in the 52s. We have to try to take our world record back. So for now it's absolutely not in our sight. But maybe one day, not sure, maybe we'll never, but she never did a weight cut in the 47. She still has the deception that she has never won a world championship in the 47. She only had got to the silver. So maybe one day, if there's the possibility, we will take it. But we need to choose carefully, since if we do that and then we want to come back in the 52s, it's going to be a lot of time that will be lost. So
it's something special to be a world champion in 2 different weight classes. Not a lot of people can do that. Like, that is very difficult. So she would be, but I mean, does she cut to make 52 or does she walk around at 52?
She does a little cut.
Little cut, okay.
I had to force her to move a little bit on the weight. Like, she was going always around 51, maybe sometimes lower. First time I started coaching her. And I said, listen, we have goals. Like, you need to put on some weight, like good weight. And then we have to cut even a little bit, but we have to cut for the weight class to be as competitive as possible.
Mass moves mass. There's a reason why there's weight classes. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, especially at the top end. I mean, Evie cut. She cut a lot. I mean, it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do.
That's for sure, man.
So she's more likely in the future to drop to 47 than move to 57. Is 57 just too much of a jump, does she think?
You want to ask her or just say what I think about it?
Sure. Whatever you think. If you guys have already talked about it, you could go ahead. You might already know the answer.
Non, tu penses que monter en 57 sera jamais faisable, ce sera jamais intéressant?
En 57? Non. Non, j'ai peut-être grosse là.
Yeah, so no, we never thought about it like a possibility, like She just said, "I don't want to be fat." Like, so, okay.
I thought that's what she said. I know girls, and I know what that means too. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, understandable, right? Like if she started as a 47 to end up a 57, that's 10 kilos. That's a 22 kilo spread. The weight
and
class,
that's even more if you thought about cutting weight in the 57, like every top 57 do. So
right.
It
It's
would
big.
be way too much kilos to take. Yeah.
Yeah. Even like a 5 kilo jump from 52 to 57. That's a huge amount of body weight to put on.
That's a 10% body weight. So yeah.
That's a little crazy. I mean, it'd be super cool to be a 3-division world champion, but that's easier said than done.
Yeah, well, that's
right. How about 63? Let's keep it going. Right. Exactly. So what does she think is the most competitive women's weight class right now?
Bon, bah, quelle est la catégorie la plus compétitive? Laquelle?
52.
52, ouais. She says 52.
It's a good argument. I mean, look at it. Sheffield is number 1 and number 2 in the world now. So it's
and
a good
I agree,
argument.
like there have been a lot of, like, we were just looking for not improving the world record before Sheffield, you know? And there were like 2 or 3 athletes around the world that actually almost did it in the Commonwealth and stuff. So I think there will be a lot of lifters above 430 kilos at Worlds. Like at least 5-6 lifters will be above that.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy because like not long ago, if you were 400 kilos and up in the 52s, like you were world class. That was amazing. Now, if you're not 420 and up, they're not looking at you. And if you're 420, you are 40 kilos behind. 40 kilos behind at 420. What is this? That's crazy. 420 is huge for a 52. Now it's like, man, you're not even.
Yeah, it's good. Like,
yeah, exactly. Wow. Yeah, that's okay.
You can make worlds. Like,
yeah, exactly. If Noémie ever did 420, she would be pissed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Other people like, oh my God, I did 420. If Noémie does 440, she's like, what the fuck happened? You know what I mean? It's
a real bad meet. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the meet recap will be like, okay, this is what went wrong. Like that's crazy to think about. Even just a couple of years ago. But this is the competition like around the world. And I like it too that it's international. It's not just like historically speaking in the US, it was so strong. Now all across the world, like especially in the women's side, it is blowing up. And her and Evie from France and New Zealand, who would have thought, man, this would be the new rivalry. But here we are. Now that Evie's here, is it, and you're going into the world championships, is she more motivated than ever? Like what is her impression now that Sheffield is over? She's the reigning world champion, but Evie took her world record. Now, what are the conversations you guys are having in terms of how she's approaching the world championship? Because previously, Noémie was ahead. Everybody's kind of fighting for silver a little bit. You know, Shizuka's really good. No, like Shizuka was a threat. I'm not saying no one was a threat, but Noémie was definitely the favorite. Now she's the underdog. Does that change things? Because some people like being the underdog. Some people, you know, it depends. What does she think?
I'm gonna ask her. Yeah. Non, du coup, t'as compris ou j'ai traduit un peu vite fait?
Plus ou moins, vas-y, traduis.
Ben, en gros, maintenant que Sheffield est passé, tu vas arriver au monde en tant que championne, du coup, dernière championne du monde, mais sans le world record au total. Du coup, comment tu te sens avec le fait que avant, tu étais toujours quand même la favorite qui devait gagner, et maintenant, tu es celle qui va rechallenger, du coup, celle qui a fait le plus gros total. Comment tu te sens par rapport à ça? Est-ce que ça te motive beaucoup plus? Est-ce que tu es plus déter que jamais ou autre?
Honnêtement, ma grande inquiétude, c'était la préparation pour les championnats du monde après Sheffield. Je me suis dit, mais comment je vais réussir à me motiver après Sheffield? Ça va être très compliqué. Et en fait, j'ai trouvé ce qui va me motiver. Donc, merci parce que du coup, je vais réussir à me motiver pour cette prépa. Donc voilà, en fait, c'est comme ça, c'est le sport. Et je pense que j'avais besoin de ça pour me remettre au travail, tout simplement.
So she says that before Sheffield, she was already asking herself, like, how will I want to train hard for Worlds after this mid prep I had? Like, I will do my biggest meet of my life and then just have a few weeks, 10, 11 weeks to prepare for Worlds, and like asking you will be given, like, here we go, like now why you want to work, and she said she needed this, so it's pretty good actually that it happened like this.
Like Russell or he was on the podcast and he said, I want that pressure. Like he said, pressure is a privilege. And when he's like, people look at me and they think that I'm like some people say like he's arrogant, cocky, but he's like, when I'm day to day, he's like, I'm actually insecure, full of anxiety because I see the other people in the world and what they're bringing, and it makes me holy shit. But that actually makes me work hard because I'm so anxious about what might happen. He's like, that's why I work as hard as I do. Throughout training, I'm anxious and I'm working as hard as I can because he's like, holy shit, I might lose. But then the day comes and then I'm confident because I know how hard I worked. So he's like, I'm at peace with it. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But if nobody's on your heels chasing you, it's hard to really, you will put in 3 hours that day. No doubt. You'll put in 3 hours in the gym, but there's a difference between the 3 hours.
It's not the same intensity. Yeah.
Dog. And people think, nah, you'll train hard. People are human. When you wake up and you're like fucking Evie's in New Zealand and you go to sleep and you're like, I want to go to sleep with my head on my pillow thinking I left it.
Well, it actually makes me think about Schwarzenegger when he said, like when they said to him, the wolf that's climbing the hill is hungrier than the wolf that's already on top of the hill.
Yeah.
And he said, as the champion overall, like, yeah, but the wolf on the top of the hill already has his food. Like,
yeah,
he
eats what he wants to eat.
People come in for it, or you're chasing for it. It's what really makes a competitor live. Like, if you're on the top and you have nobody near, like Taylor Atwood, like, I understand that you have less motivation, like you have still discipline and stuff, but you're doing numbers that no one ever did, and no one looks like he will do one day. Like, any 64 kilos right now, I don't see anyone doing 840,
Right.
So that's not motivating. Like, what are you doing that for? You're already the best, no one's coming near you, so it's needed in sport. In every sport, like not only in powerlifting, like where there was a duo that was struggling to beat each other, that's where the greatest performances ever happened. So
I remember Celine the Machine was on the podcast and she was tired and she'd been working and she's like she didn't want to go to the gym that day. And she was training for the USAPL, like one of the Pro Series events. And she texted her husband and said, tell me something that's going to make me want to go to the gym because I don't have motivation. And her husband texted back, I bet you Sam Calhoun went to the gym today. And Celine is like, that did it. Because she was going to face
yeah, good enough.
She was going to face Sam. She's like, good enough. I'm going to the gym. It's true. Like there's a competitiveness. This is what it does. It elevates you. The pressure, the anxiety, when you feel it in the moment, you're like, fuck, this is a lot, man. This is tough to deal with. But when you look back, you're like, there's no way I would have pushed like that if somebody wasn't all over me. And hopefully Noémie and Evie have like a sports rivalry for like years to come. Cause this is crazy. How far do you guys think you can push the 52 kilo total? Like
I won't say a number. I already have mine in my head. Like
500's coming. Is 500 falling? Not in 12 weeks or whatever, 11 weeks, but like, is it possible a 52 is going to hit 500 kilos in a couple, like within 2, 3, 4 years?
I think it is.
What is Noémie, what do you think?
Il demande le chiffre que je vais faire en 52, c'est ça? Et après?
Alors, non, ça, j'ai dit qu'on ne le dira pas. Mais il demande, est-ce que tu penses qu'en 2, 3, 4 ans, c'est possible que les 500 tombent en 52?
500.
Oh, je sais pas.
Pas forcément toi, hein, mais est-ce que c'est possible pour les 52 de...
Peut-être dans 6 ou 7 ans, peut-être. Franchement, peut-être, ouais.
6
Ça
or
me
7
parle.
years? I mean, yeah, because 460, we're getting close, huh? It's getting close. Like, if you think about the jump that just happened in the last year, what did it get moved up? Like 15 kilos? Like, it's
22 kilos right
22 kilos? Well, I mean, it's great. It's some big jumps. Now, it could plateau for a little while. But there's new waves of new people coming. So who knows what's going to happen?
now. We'll see. Like,
yeah,
no one see the 105 world record move up to 936. Like,
Right.
Anatoly moved up and he did it. So
yeah.
I don't know.
I seen the Road to Sheffield video with Noémie, and it was freaking amazing. I didn't know her background like that. I want to ask her about that. So, I mean, this might be a long answer, so maybe you got to chop it up a little bit. But for people who don't know, if you could ask, or I mean, you could ask her, but you probably already know the story, but tell that story because I had no idea, and it's fucking an amazing, inspirational story.
Vas-y, non, alors fais-moi un petit résumé de ton histoire. Tu connais laquelle? Essaie de la simplifier, après je t'en dis petit à petit, ok?
Du coup, en gros, je suis née mal formée. J'étais née avec une jambe plus grande que l'autre de 5 cm. Du coup, bah, j'ai des problèmes au dos, des problèmes à la hanche, etc. Et à l'âge de 14 ans, du coup, je me suis fait agrandir la jambe de 5 cm. Pour la faire courte.
Ok, je commence par ça. Bon, to make it a short answer, like she's born with a leg that was shorter by 5 centimeters.
Holy
That,
shit.
I don't know in inches how much it is, but
that's like 3 inches. That's substantial.
it's a big difference.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a big difference. So she grew up with a lot of back and hip issues. She has a lot of problems around that. And at 14 years of age, she had a surgery that took place and took 3 months, if I remember good, 2 or 3 months. That, like, on the femur, I don't know how it works. Like, of course, it's not my domain, but it added the 5 centimeters to the leg. It didn't catch up exactly to the other leg, but it's a matter of millimeters now, so it's pretty good.
Et tu peux dire aussi que, par exemple, tous les jours, en fait, j'avais un clou dans la jambe et que tous les jours, je devais faire 20 clics et ça agrandissait en fait de 1 mm tous les jours.
This is gonna tough to translate, but she had like an object, like, I don't know how to say it, that was planted in her leg. You had to turn 20 times it per day, and every day it added 1 millimeter. So
what?
or 1 or
no shit.
1 millimètre par jour, t'as dit?
Oui, c'est ça.
It was that there.
So
it was pretty painful and stuff. Yeah.
This is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Every day they had to turn an object in her leg 20 times and it just spread 1 millimeter a day.
In the femur, I guess, yeah.
En gros, il coupe l'os en deux et tous les jours, tu grandis en fait l'os.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, they cut the femur in half, and every day, like, you break it a little bit to make it reconstruct and decorate it again. And
this is crazy, first off.
Yeah.
So did they think, like, at first, you know, her parents, the doctors, everyone would never have assumed she'd be a world champion powerlifter, breaking world records and everything later on in life. That's crazy. What did they tell her parents, like, in terms of what they thought she'd be able to do with her leg? Like, were they expecting her to have full use of it and she'd be just like everybody else, or?
Le médecin pensait que tu allais être complètement saine après, ou pensait que tu allais même avoir peut-être des problèmes à marcher, ou enfin, qu'est-ce qu'il s'attendait à avoir?
Plutôt, il m'avait dit de ne pas faire de sport à cause de mon dos. Après, le fait que je devienne un jour championne du monde ou que je fasse quelque chose comme ça, c'était impossible pour eux. Et c'était plutôt pas faire de sport, juste essayer de peut-être faire un petit peu de musculation, de la marche, etc. Mais pas pousser lourd, justement, à cause du dos. Pas porter des charges lourdes.
Attends, tu peux répéter juste la dernière phase parce que ça a bugué 2 secondes?
En gros, de faire de la marche, de faire un petit peu de musculation, mais de pas porter des charges lourdes.
Yeah, so they were like, they had the hope to make her move pretty good again, like walk and do stuff around and maybe do some fitness, but never to, like, carry heavy loads. Like, that was never expected to be possible.
I mean, it's the craziest of loads. Like it's not even those doctors now would be like, holy shit, if they watch Sheffield, they'd be like, all right, well, it was a success anyways. How did she find powerlifting?
So I know this story. Like she got into a gym like just to move around and get in shape again. And there was I don't know him, but it was the old junior national coach in France that saw her moving, and he told she to like try it out, like just come do some squat, bench, and deadlift and see what you can do. So it was completely a random, like.
And then here we are. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh my God, I think I might be good at this. Did she think like initially, like I could be a world champion at this? Did she have any indication like, holy shit, I'm strong?
No.
Really? Because some people like naturally strong and everyone's like, you got to do this. Was she strong initially or no?
T'étais forte dès le début ou au début tu soulevais pas beaucoup?
Mon premier squat, je crois que j'avais fait 40 au squat, 30 au couché, je crois. Et au terre, j'avais fait 60, quelque chose comme ça. Après, je pense que je pesais 46 kilos, quelque chose comme ça. Et je pense que j'étais forte quand même naturellement dès le départ. J'étais pas entraînée pour faire de la force, mais je pense que naturellement, j'étais forte. Donc, et puis j'ai le physique aussi pour faire du powerlifting. Je suis petite, j'ai des grosses cuisses, j'ai des grands bras. Voilà quoi.
Yeah, so she says that the first time she trained squat, bench, and deadlift, she did 40 kilos on squat, 30 on bench, and 60 on deadlift.
Oh my God, 40 and 30? That's close. Right? She almost bench pressed her squat.
Yeah, and like she never trained before that, so she felt like she was done for powerlifting, like she was feeling strong and stuff, but not to the point where as soon as she started lifting, she felt like I can do big things. Like,
and the rest is history, man. Isn't it crazy? Like that's why when someone starts, you never know where they're going to end up. I've seen it happen where people like people, you see someone on the way up and they feel ambitious a little bit. And there's some people like, nah, they have so much room to grow. Like it's going to take forever. It happens, man. It happens even for a lady with like a leg that's like 3 inches shorter than the other leg, etc. Okay, let's play a little something called the name game. So with the name game, I say a name and she could say 1 word, 2 words, a story, as much or as little as she wants. Some people, like if I say Ray Williams, some people say like the GOAT. Or if I say like Mike T, someone will go into a whole story. Let me tell you a story about it. There's no right and wrong answer. It can be as much or as little as you want is the name game. And I'm just going to pull up my names. Okay. So first name, Evie Corrigan.
La goutte des 52.
52 is GOAT, like number 1.
Big GOAT. Wow. Okay. It seems early to say GOAT, but okay. Does she not? So she doesn't consider herself the 52 GOAT, Noémie? Apparently not.
That's why I say that. Ben, elle a dit, tu te considères pas toi-même la 52, la GOAT des 52?
Oui, mais moins qu'elle forcément, parce que du coup, elle m'a battue, donc mais j'aurai ma revanche.
It's just because we lost last time, but for now she doesn't consider herself this way, but we'll see the next one.
That's right. We'll see that next one, huh? Everyone we'll see that next. There's always a next one. Plyn Deckers.
Je dirais la championne au squat. La world championne au squat.
Squat champion first.
Yeah, she's got an absolutely amazing squat. Does she still? Who owns the world record? Does she still have the squat world record? Is that guy?
No.
Okay.
We took it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thoughts. All right. Turbo Tiff.
Je dirais la goutte des 47. Je pense que pour l'instant, elle est très, très au-dessus. Donc, goutte des 47.
Compétitive. Yeah, so 47's GOAT, like she's not touchable for now. So
How about Jade Jacob?
Mais je vais dire go des 57. Non,
ah, tu
vraiment.
mettrais autre chose.
Je sais pas, moi. Je pense que c'est la future powerlifteuse numéro 1 en France.
Oh wow, no
Yeah,
shit. Okay, I'll let you translate, but I do what that.
future #1 powerlifter in France in the women division.
That probably means in the world too. The tout le monde, si c'est France, because French is like the leading nation in the women's division, right?
Yep.
Wow, big praise. We'll see. She's young. Leah Bavois.
Euh, je sais pas.
Don't know.
Euh, je dirais. Non, je sais pas. Tu dirais quoi, toi, Yous?
Bah, pour l'instant, c'est la plus forte de tous les temps en indice, quoi.
Je sais pas si Amanda l'a battue, là, chez Sheffield.
Ah, je sais pas.
Bah, la plus forte, la powerlifteuse numéro 1 mondiale.
#1 powerlifter in the world for now, and so biggest talent that we've seen until now.
Panagiotis.
Pas de commentaire.
Allez, non.
No comment.
No comment, no.
No comment. Okay. And Yusuf.
Yeah.
No, that is the next name.
Ah!
No.
Ah, pour Pana, j'avais un mot. J'aurais dit dragon, mais c'est pas grave. Euh, pour Yous, bah après, je dirais un des meilleurs coachs.
The best
One of
coach.
the best coaches. Yeah. One of the best.
One of the best. Okay. Well, that's fair enough. And one more one, because I'm kind of interested in this. Russell or he?
Je le connais pas. Physiquement, il est incroyable, mais personnellement, je le connais pas.
Okay, so she says he is incredibly strong and physically incredible, but she doesn't know him and she doesn't really follow a lot of powerlifters, like really.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask because in the US, and I'm always interested in how like different nations and cultures take this. In the US right now, there's a lot of like trash talk between some of these men. I don't know if you guys have like been following.
I do a little bit, not that much, but she doesn't for sure. Yeah.
She doesn't? Okay.
No.
But how does she feel about like that aspect of it? I don't know if this is a very American thing because in American sports, like basketball is not just American, but the NBA certainly is American football. And like some of these over there, it's normal for like trash talk as long as it stays in sports. How does she feel about it? And yourself coming from France, Italy, like you guys are more in tune with how it is in Europe.
Bon, qu'est-ce que tu en penses du coup parce qu'en gros il y a une histoire en Amérique où il y a des athlètes qui sont trash talk. C'est parti un peu en cacahuète. Toi, qu'est-ce que tu en penses du trash talk dans le sport tant que ça reste dans le sport? Et
Moi, j'aime bien parce que je pense que ça fait partie du sport aussi. J'avais commencé un petit peu à me trash talk avec Heather quand j'étais en 47. Et, euh, et après, honnêtement, en 52, enfin, depuis que je suis montée en 52, tous les athlètes sont très sains, enfin, elles ont une très bonne mentalité. Donc, il n'y a pas énormément de trash talk en 52, mais effectivement, en 47, avec Heather, ça avait commencé un petit peu.
Okay, so she says that she actually liked to have some trash talk in the sports, like it's part of it. In the 47s, she actually had some little beef with either Connor, I guess, she told me. In the 52s, not yet, because every lifter that we faced has a pretty good, like, they go along pretty well, so there's no clash between them. They just do their stuff, and it's okay. But she actually liked the fact that that could be that powerlifting could have some trash talk in it. Like, it's a good thing.
It makes it spicy for like fans. It makes fans invest emotionally. And then if you're invested, like say you're a Noémie Allabert fan, if somebody says something about Noémie, you're like, what?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you become more entrenched on Team Noémie. All of a sudden when you show up, you're like, get them, like, slay queen. You're like, let's go. And then when your person trash talks back, you're like, hell yeah. All of a sudden, like, you're more, this is what happens in sports. We see it in team sports, like your hockey team versus the other hockey team, and you hate those guys. You don't actually hate them, but it's
No,
like, I don't know what it is, but some people don't like it. Some people are like, yeah, I don't like it in powerlifting, not in powerlifting. So I was interested, and I was wondering.
we just not used to it, but I knew that there is some leagues outside IPF, like the Irish Pro, where they actually have some interviews before the meet, and there is some trust talk. Like, I must see that. I still did not see any interview like that, but I think it could be a good thing. Like,
As long as it's like about sports, it's
yeah, it
not,
must be respectful. Like, yeah, of course.
yeah, like not treading into personal attacks. But if it's like sporting, it is what it is. Like I've seen it like on the podcast type deal. The thing is, I don't think Evie's a trash talker. Just letting you guys know. That's not the
I
impression
saw
I
her
get.
during the meet, and it was like she's laughing all along, like how she's even competing like that, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, it is what it is. All right. That is the end of the name game. I appreciate you guys coming on the podcast first off. And thank you for coming on, my man. Helping out with translation. And I wanted you on anyways, because you get like a feedback from a coaching perspective. Obviously, you were there for these battles, and you're going to be there when you're going to be there in Malta, right?
Yeah, I
Okay.
will be there for sure.
Perfect. Before I let you guys go, how do people contact you if they want to get coaching?
Like just on Instagram or by email. Like I got everything on there. So yeah.
And give everybody your Instagram handle then.
Yeah, it's just Yusuf_EL_Adlani. Very simple.
Perfect. And does Noémie coach people?
No.
Nope.
Okay. Well, keep it simple.
Like
Sounds good. Listen, thank you for coming on the podcast. Much appreciated. Good luck. I'll see you guys in Malta. It's going to be amazing. Everybody's going to watch because everyone loved Sheffield, and we got to run it back. We got unfinished business. We got to figure out who is the greatest 52 of all time. And for everybody listening, please do subscribe. Give us high ratings. Until next time, 6-pack Lapadat, 6 up, and we are out.